for your whole career even, or you ever record even one time. But just to know about it a little bit more and be able to do it with strength will, if you do decide to use any tapping, will at least make it very effective for you. Now, as I showed how important economy of motion is by locking your hand in one spot, here I'm not necessarily violating it if I'm going to move around a lot. So there's still an economy of motion there where you lock your hand in one position and then move that position up and down the neck to try and get different spots to play your music from. So I'm going to play some licks that I do, some standard stuff for me that I normally gravitate towards. And keep an eye on it and watch if you can see the patterns that I'm doing. Basically, it's going to be in G major. So on the two strings here. Now you can apply this to the next two, the two before, all four. These apply across the board. So we're going to start it off on two to make it a little bit easier to explain. So the tone centers we're going to be in there is, again, G major. So that's G major. So I'm going to be doing something a little bit different here as well. I'm going to be doing a lot of, to hit that note, I'm actually plucking it with this hand. So I'm going, so it's kind of half of what you do when you're hammering. So I'll incorporate that with plucking on with the right hand as well. But basically what I'm going to try and show you here is how I move up and down in those same patterns that Since G is a legal open note in that scale ring, why not use the open string? I use open strings a lot. So I'll do a lick work. Now I'm moving my hand in that position. Next one. Next one. And just doing variations of those notes. Some of them I'm plucking, some of them with my right hand. It's an idea how to move around on two strings. That was the G major scale. Pick the scale you want or however you want to do it. We did G major because we had that open string there too. And it illustrates how those patterns in G major work. So you can slide up and down the neck on them. Get an idea how when you're moving up and down the neck, to be able to stop at various points and do whatever you need to do in that position. So that's linear motion with still some economy of motion applied. I bend a lot of notes on the bass, aside from the neck bending thing. Do a lot of bending, and again on bass, it's a strength instrument. It's very important to make a few adjustments different from what a guitar player would do or what anyone else would do on any other instrument whose strings you might bend. Since bass is a kind of a string instrument, I use a lot more than one finger to bend. If I'm going to bend like I'll automatically, and without even thinking about it, and it evolved that way as well, put all the fingers I have behind it and push with all three of them. So I can really get that up there. And if I get a little bit of get a vibrato on top of it. Again, here I got three fingers. Now, these are pretty thick strings. It's my Rotosound set. The low E is actually a 110, which is pretty big. And you can do actually bend that up to an E. You see how if I get underneath it, oops. I'm making this up as I go along, so this isn't planned out. Anyway, that's an idea. Now you watch my hands, rewind slow motion, watch my hands as I'm doing this to see how I'm grabbing it, the amount of fingers I'm using, and how much strength it actually takes to really bend the bass string convincingly, smoothly, with a little vibrato on, to give whatever lick you're playing, whatever musical style you go towards, give it a little bit of character, with a little, instead of going some random bass lick, why not go? To do some bending, instead of just going right up to the note, bend up to it. It's a convincing way to also mimic a little bit of what a fretless or stand-up bass would sound like, which is basically what the stand-up is the ancestor to this, and the fretless is kind of a hybrid between the two. So it's a way to make the bass sound and feel a little bit like the tone, that grindy sitar. And after a while, you get accurate enough to get right up to the note you're supposed to get to, either whether it's a half step or a whole step bend. You don't do too much more than a whole step bend, and up here, it's a step and a half to get up to that high G. Anyway, that's the basis on bending. As I said, rewind the DVD and watch my hands and see how. I usually always get extra fingers in there to help push it and make it sound fluid and convincing and not strained. And so all the notes flow together in an even way. As I was explaining when I was bending how I have to get a lot of fingers up underneath the string to bend it properly and to really get a lot of strength to it, this enables me to get my finger underneath there without hitting the wood. Because normally if I'm going to hit the wood, it may drag and scrape on the wood. So I cleaned that out from the bass, had it removed. My old original bass, I did it with a Dremel Moto tool. Now the Yamahas come with that built in. So it enables me to just get that high song ending, applause begging note. And also assists me with another thing called pinch harmonics, which I'll get into soon as well. But it helps me get up underneath there. A lot of people ask me about why these are scalloped in that way. I've seen guitar players who scallop the whole neck, but I didn't want to lose that much wood, so I just did the top few 5 frets halfway across to help me get that top high bend, to get the highest notes I can out of the bass. One other thing I do that I get a lot of requests for an explanation is pinch harmonics. I got it originally from Billy Gibbons from ZZ Top, who I also got hammer-ons from. He's the first guy I ever saw do hammer-ons back in 1974. Sorry. A ZZ Top song, and I took it from there. Pinch harmonics basically are a guitar player's domain, but we can use them in bass as well as a little bit of a nuance, added effect, what have you. What I basically do is I'm plucking with this fingernail while I have the soft part of the thumb against there, and I pull off the soft part of the thumb right at the moment that I pluck. So it's kind of all one motion. And in a way I'm kind of pinching the bass string in between these fingers. So it's a way to get a little bit of an extra tonality out of the bass when you're just a way to get a little bit more out of your bass than what we already have in it. Again, very simply, the fingernail against the soft part of the thumb. And there's harmonics all up and down the string.